Hello! Namaste. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another amazing live stream. Today, we kick off the live stream with an amazing quote. Are you guys ready? Guys, before we get started with the live stream, please take the time to share this video with family and friends. We are back, and let's continue with the amazing quote. So, let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food, by hypocrites. Does that mean that sugar is now my new medicine? I don't get it. Let's read it again. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. Now it makes sense. Okay, today we have a specialist to enlighten us, and here's her biography. Jenny Joseph Williamson has been a full-time personal trainer and yoga instructor for over 18 years. She found her love for helping others heal through movement in New York City, where she trained for 10 years. During that time, she was also a freelance contributor to Health magazine, where she helped oversee all of the fitness photo shoots. She is a National Strength and Conditioning Association certified personal trainer, 200-hour registered yoga teacher, and a certified mindfulness and meditation coach. She also holds additional certifications in TRX, kettlebells, Pilates, and CPR AED. Jenny has been a contributor to Shape, Health, and Birmingham Home and Garden magazines. Jenny does virtual sessions for clients all over the country and also works as the fitness integration coach and yoga instructor for A Center for Eating Disorders and the wellness coach for Red Mountain Theater Company. She has had a significant amount of experience working with all ages, helping with injury and surgery rehabilitation, and training clients in recovery for mental illness or who have struggled with having a healthy relationship with exercises. Being a reliable source for those seeking health and wellness guidance is a top priority, and because of that, Jenny is always working with other professionals in the fitness and yoga community to continue to elevate the quality of training her clients receive. She believes in focus and discipline with plenty of patience and grace for yourself, whether it is in your yoga practice, training session, or in other areas of your life. That That's impressive. So, today, for this amazing live stream, we have Jenny Joseph Williamson here on the platform. Welcome, Jenny.
Hi, Ella. Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And thank you for inviting me. I'm so grateful to be here.
Okay, let's start. Jenny, your biography is really inspiring. What led you to fitness, yoga, and meditation?
Well, it probably started with yoga about 20 years ago. I fell in love with yoga. And shortly after that, I became a yoga instructor and a personal trainer. And I've worked thousands of hours with hundreds of people since then. I've always enjoyed guiding or leading people in a way that encouraged them to be disciplined and focused, but also kind and gentle with themselves. So, as a personal trainer and a yoga instructor, and now a mindfulness and meditation coach, I get to do that every day. And I really, really enjoy it. So, as a coach, I essentially teach my clients how to have a seriousness and a focus about them while at the same time realizing that we're not perfect living beings, right? And we're just striving to do our best. And that what or how much you eat or when or if you exercise does not define any moral component of you as a living being. I was lucky enough to begin my career in New York City, where I got to learn and study and watch with some of just the most knowledgeable, wise coaches and experienced work with a lot of really great mentors. So that is probably what kept me going and has continued me wanting to learn every day so that I can help my clients. And I'm grateful to all the teachers who came before me because they gave me this tiniest bit of wisdom that I have now. So I'm grateful to them.
Okay, interesting. Thank you so much for that honest answer. So, as you know, I'm an 11-year-old passionate about healthy lifestyle and also trying to do my best as I can with all the diseases in my family. So, we're talking about cancer and vascular diseases. And so, I really want to stay healthy. And people like you are a blessing to have in my life and in others watching this live stream. So, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. That's so kind of you to say. I'm sorry to hear about the illnesses in your family. Of course, all of us have a family history of illnesses that we can learn from and use as our guide. And I'm happy to hear that you are doing your best to keep your mind and body healthy. And sometimes, no matter what we do, a serious illness can enter our lives, but we can certainly take steps to help ourselves live the healthiest, most pain-free lives possible.
Yes, that's true. So, thank you. So, Jenny, there is more to food than eating. Yet, it can be a complex process for many because we don't experience food the same way. So, how have you have seen a handful of patients? So, please educate us what an eating disorder is.
Sure. So, as we go into this topic of discussing eating disorders a bit, I want to mention that I myself had an eating disorder for about 8 years, from when I was about 18 to 19 to about 26. So, I've been in recovery for about 10 years. So, as I speak about this, it's coming from my personal experience and what I've learned as someone who works with patients struggling with eating disorders on a daily basis. So, eating disorders can develop they're for a variety of reasons. They're very complex, as any illness is. Eating disorders are a condition marked by an unhealthy relationship with food. So, food is often a big part of it, but sometimes exercise, certain medications, and other behaviors are also involved. People develop eating disorders for a variety of reasons. Experts believe these could include genetics, brain biology, personality traits, and cultural ideals, which we can talk about also. The things we see every day in the media, on social media, on TV, in magazines. So for some people, this preoccupation with food can start as a way of feeling like they're gaining control over something in their life. And this unhealthy relationship with food can start small, and then these behaviors can spiral out of control and really take over someone's life.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And how do these eating disorders even develop?
Well, they can develop for a variety of reasons and at different ages. So it can be different for everybody. Like I said, genetics, brain biology, things that are going on in someone's life can all be a factor in how these develop.
And so you just said it also affects all people's ages, but does it also affect gender?
Yes, any age, any gender can be affected by an eating disorder. They are more often reported by women, but men are just as affected as women. So yes.
Okay. That's kind of sad. But in addition to Jenny's reply, statistics show that 95% of people with eating disorders are between 12 and 25. 12 and 25, that's a lot. That's really young. So we have to all be careful of what we eat. And what are some side effects of eating disorder?
So there are so many side effects. I want to touch on something you just said about how young these eating disorders can develop. And you're right, you got that age range exactly right for kind of where many times eating disorders are reported. And even we're seeing very, very young children starting to develop unhealthy relationships with food. So you're right. We should all, us and the youth themselves and their parents, should be mindful of how early this can occur. So let me go back to what you asked. Some different symptoms, so many different symptoms. Of course, dramatic weight loss or gain. Although I want to mention that eating disorders don't look a certain way. You could pass 100 people into the street and not know who had an eating disorder. You don't have to be significantly overweight or underweight to have a severely difficult, unhealthy relationship with food. Refusal to eat certain foods, like maybe all of a sudden one of your favorite things you don't want to eat anymore. Skipping meals, stopping menstruating, or not starting menstruation if that is the age you're going into. Being secretive about how little or how much you're eating. Same with exercise, maybe being secret about how much exercise you're doing. Excessive exercise, hoarding food, and there's so many more. And of course, all of these behaviors can lead to severe medical issues. So I recommend reaching out for help from a medical professional if you're experiencing any of these things, even if it seems like not a big deal, like, oh, I'm just not going to eat breakfast this morning, or I'm just going to stop eating this particular food. That can be a sign that maybe something a little more serious is developing. So reach out to someone for help. If it feels too scary to reach out to a medical professional, then ask an adult that you trust, a parent, an aunt or uncle, a family member, and they can help you get more support from a professional.
Thank you. That's a lot of facts. So, and specifically with youths, what are some symptoms that parents can look out for?
So that's a great question. one thing I would want parents to know, and I'm a parent now myself. I had an eating disorder as kind of a younger person, but I am also a parent now myself. So I am also very aware of this. One thing to know is that, of course, like many addictions, your child may want to hide, may be very good at hiding what's going on. So trust your intuition and your gut and take things seriously if you notice it, but also understand that it might be a very difficult thing for your child to admit. So be a listening ear, as non-judgmental as possible. I know it's so difficult, but if you notice your child starting to maybe, there are again so many signs, but you know your child the best. So if you start seeing anything out of the ordinary, take note and maybe ask questions. Ask how you can support, ask if there's anything going on. So if they maybe start wearing baggy clothing, or you find food wrappers under their bed, it may not be just because your kid wouldn't go put it in the trash can. It may be because they are trying to hide something that's really difficult for them and they need support. So those are a couple of things to look for. If they all of a sudden start to exercise a lot or talk about dieting, dieting or diets aren't something that we necessarily need to do. Having a healthy, balanced, nutrient-rich diet is kind of what we would hopefully aim for. So yeah, those are just a few.
Okay, so it means that there are many more.
Yes, sure. Again, I think as a parent, use that sense of, I know my child, I've watched their behaviors and habits, and if they start to isolate or any of these things, it could be a sign that something's wrong. And if it's not an eating disorder, which it may not be, there are many other mental illnesses or depression, anxiety, things like that. A lot of these have similar warning signs.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Your answer brings us to the next segment of our discussion. So, Mark Tremblay wrote in the research journal, the Lancet Child and Adolescent Health, the electronic revolution has fundamentally transformed people's movement patterns by changing where and how they live, learn, work, play, and travel, progressively isolating them indoors, like houses, schools, workplaces, and even vehicles. And most often in chairs. People sleep less, sit more, walk less frequently, drive more regularly, and do less physical activity than they used to do. Yeah. And WHO-led study says that majority of adolescents worldwide are not sufficiently physically active. So putting their current and future health in risk. So not just now, but also what's going to happen later. So does urgent action is needed to increase physical activity levels in girls and boys aged from 11 to 17 years. So I'm not part of that category, so stand up. Let's do jumping jacks.
Yes, stretch.
Guys, wherever you are, let's start stretching and doing jumping jacks. Go. Stretch, 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 stretch.
Yes. And doesn't it feel good?
Yeah, it does.
To take a deep breath and
And jumping jacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yes.
We did it!
Woohoo!
So guys, by moving and stretching, we can change these statistics. And Jenny, reading the above makes me feel that we youths are on the wrong footing. How true is this?
Well, I think it is true for many people. Yes. But that doesn't mean that we can't make improvements and change. That's how we start.
We're going to change the world together.
That's right. One jumping jack at a time.
So, how can youth start their movement journey looking at where we stand?
So, one thing I think is so important to start is to take a little inventory of your life. Think about what most of your days look like. How much time do you spend sitting? How much time do you spend looking at your a screen of some sort? How much time do you spend outside? Look at all of these things and see if it looks balanced to you. And also think about what brings you joy and what's really serving and helping you. So if 2 hours scrolling on your phone through social media brings you so much joy and peace, then call me, because I don't know anybody who feels that way after scrolling through social media for 2 hours. I want to hear about you and tell me about it. For most people, a lot of the things we have to do during the day are very, like you mentioned, sitting down a lot, looking at screens, and they aren't the kind of things that are filling us with joy and peace and energy. So one normally looks like, then you can maybe start to take away some of the things that aren't super helpful and add things that are. And the reality is, for youths and for adults, because of school, because of work, we are sitting a lot during the day. So sometimes I'll recommend people setting an alarm on their phone to go off every 20 minutes. And every 20 minutes, maybe you get up and do 20 jumping jacks, or go for a walk around every 20 minutes. Maybe you wouldn't go on a walk around your neighborhood, but maybe a few times a day, go on a walk around your neighborhood to fit that movement in. As we all know, time during the day flies, and all of a sudden it's time to go to sleep at night, and maybe you're still scrolling on your phone, or you've been at your desk all day, or you had to go straight from school and come home and do more homework. So make a list, make an actual list. It's good to think about it in your head and let it marinate a little bit, but make a list, write it down of things that bring you joy and happiness, and make sure that there's a little bit of that sprinkled throughout the day, and hopefully some of that will be movement related. I know sometimes it's hard to get up and do something active, but I can almost promise you that if you make that part of your daily routine, you'll come to look forward to it, and you'll notice what a great mood boost it gives you. So that is a start. So then you can develop your own balanced, healthy daily routine, where at the end of each day, as you're laying in bed at night with your eyes closed, breathing deeply and easily, you can look back at that hike you did with your family, or the walk you went on with your dog, or the yoga class you did when you met up with some friends and did a yoga class. And it can be a very valuable part of your day.
Yes. And just before we continue, we have a comment and 2 people watching. So thank you. And what's the comment?
Hi.
A comment from Germany, from Stefan Weiser. Isn't it also accelerated because parents are often no good examples anymore?
Stefan, that is a great question. And one of the things I always say to myself is, the easiest part of being a parent It's just that you have to be a good example and let them watch you grow as a human. And that is also the hardest part about being a parent, is you have to be a good example and a healthy human and let them watch you grow. You're right. I mean, of course, um, severe eating disorders, should never be blamed on parents. But as far as other habits, sure, if a parent is sedentary and doesn't do some of these things themselves, of course, their child, it's not going to be easier for the child, that's for sure. And that's why it's nice to get the whole family involved, because then everyone benefits. There's a lot of bonding that goes on in these family, maybe family after dinner walks or family yoga classes in the living room. You can, pull up their free YouTube yoga stuff all over the place. So yes, thank you for that question. It is so difficult because it's hard to be an example of health and happiness every day. So as parents, we kind of have to start with ourselves. If our children are having issues, sometimes we have to take that inventory of our own lives and make sure that what our child is seeing is something that they can strive for as well.
Yep. And just adding to the last question, also, not only so, like you said, sometimes it's hard to stand up and do something active. One easy thing you can do just every day, simple stretching, or just even going outside for 10 minutes, or going for a quick walk or biking. That's the least you can do to have active minutes.
That's a great point. I think some people, when they think about, I'm going to exercise today, they think it has to be like an hour at the gym or a whole yoga class or running a certain amount of miles. But you're right, it doesn't. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and it'll have a huge impact on your life. So yes, good point.
Jumping jacks don't even take a minute, so let's do them again.
That's right. I'm not in proper outfit, Ella, for jumping jacks.
Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna modify. Yes. And you can do some squats. Tap your butt to your chair. Tap your butt to the back of your chair. And then stand up and then tap and then up and then up. Yes. Good. And remember, doing all of this, to take deep breaths, think positive things about yourself and your body, and congratulate yourself for taking the time to do this.
Yes. And guys,
yeah,
look deeply in my eyes. I can see you're not doing it with me. Come on, let's do it again. Turn the TV off. Get up your chair, even if you're in the airplane or in the train or on the couch. That's just simple movements. Or even breathing.
Yes. Inhaling and exhaling. Yes. So good. And if you're in the airplane doing this, you get extra points. Extra points for doing it in the airplane.
Yes. And in the train.
That's true. Yes.
Do you have a comment on me? Okay. That was second time we're doing stretching, which is good. And thank you so much, Jenny. I can promise you one thing, that I will intend to stay active in my life's journey. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with me and my audience.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you. You're a stunning, delightful host, and you're spreading such wonderful information to everybody. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. And just one last question. Where can parents or anyone interested in working on their healthy journey find you? You can find Jenny on this link down below. Oh, we have one last comment.
You can go to... oh, yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jenny, for the insight.
Oh, thank you, Stefan. Thank you.
Okay, so Guys, don't remember if you want to find Jenny, this link down below in the comment box. And thank you so much, Jenny. Bye, Jenny, and bye,